Du coup, on est parti pour la quête, j'allais dire, enfin l'escapade de Lynette. Les chats et les nombres aléatoires. Comme d'habitude, je fais une première run, entre guillemets. Juste pour voir l'histoire que ça donne, et puis après, je ferai toutes les fins de mon côté. Je lance ça à mon stade alors que c'est à Fontaine, bien sûr. Je suis un petit peu fada. On va se TP par ici. Zenix sur le live qui demande est-ce que tu vas invoquer Acheron? Yes. J'ai de quoi faire 150 vœux, donc je l'aurai normalement. Ce sera peut-être, je sais pas, le dernier perso que j'invoque avant un petit moment, parce que les prochains ne m'intéressent pas trop. Ah, ça va tourner sur les chats. Miaou.
Yeah.
Elle a dit miaou. Et j'ai parlé en même temps. Fada.
It's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode. You made me jump there. I thought they'd finally caught me. Well, my heart rate did. Jumped up a little, I mean. Objectively speaking, the trouble was entirely of my own making. Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Boer for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the successful opening of a show, but it was draining my energy. So, probably because I'm playing the lead role in the show. Is that so surprising? I'm always getting invitations to do solo performances. I just usually get Linny to write back and turn them down. But then came the Fontanalia Film Festival. We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film, and after it finished, they all started clamoring for me to try out acting for some reason. Even Linny was chanting along with them.
D'ailleurs, c'est les premières de fond.
It just so happened that a director
On n'a pas eu
called
depuis,
me and sent me an
depuis ce mois d'août, là.
invitation right around then.
Comme ça, t'as pas encore fait l'event.
But basically, I ended up accepting it.
Le mec peut faire 400 vœux. Du coup, tu vas tenter full à Arlecchino?
Yep, you nailed
C'est
it.
ce que tu m'avais dit.
I'm playing the role
Mais 400 vœux, c'est chaud, hein. Si tu veux l'arme.
In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet.
L'arme, si ça te troll, ça fait déjà 200 vœux. Hein.
So, I don't have to do any facial expressions or say any
Chaud les marauds.
lines. Literally just a series of physical
Et
movements.
je te souhaite toute la chance du
The
monde.
director says it's a very avant-garde art form. Art is not comprehended by the mind, but felt in the heart. At least, that's what the director says. Anyway, if nothing else, the opening performance seemed to go down well. At the drinks reception, everyone was crowding around me, saying,
Attends, on a une espèce de mèche de cheveux un peu verdâtre. J'avais jamais
faithful
remarqué.
adaptation of the original work.
Le
Unequivocally,
bout de sa frange là,
quintessentially
en dessous de la mèche.
avant-garde.
Mais qu'est-ce que...
And stuff like that.
J'avais jamais vu...
But being the center of attention is draining. So the moment they left me to go harass the director instead, I was out of there. The other thing is, some weird things happened while I was on the stage. Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation. My bad. No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away. Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a liking to the name. Haven't you, Bonnie? Yeah, that's right. Good kitty. We'll go find your owner soon, I promise. Nope. She's wearing a collar, and for the most part, she's pretty well groomed. If she is a stray, she hasn't been for long. Her stomach's been growling a lot. I guess she must have been missing for a few days now. As much as I'd love to hang out with her for a while longer, her owner's probably worried sick about her. Assuming she has an owner, that is. But the reception... I should probably show my face there again at some point, even if it's just to make excuses and leave again. Decision time. Well, I just find it exhausting, thinking through all the different ramifications of different choices and so on. That's more Lenny's area than mine. So, unless it's something really important, I usually just leave the decision-making to him. It's fine. He got Ferminate to make me a little something for just this situation. Poof! A phaetometer. It looks pretty over the top, I know.
Ah mais
but
oui,
it's
ça me revient.
essentially
C'est un
just
truc
a
pour...
box of cards.
Oui, on va
I
l'avoir
kept the
après ça,
design
normalement.
simple,
Si je dis
so
pas de
it'd be
bêtises,
harder
mais...
to break. The way it works is, I pick a card at random, then look at the number on the card. Well, for example, if the number on the card is 5 or higher, I help Bonnie find her owner. If it's less than 5, I go back to the reception. I just have to believe in the bond between me and my cards, and my fate will reveal itself to me in numerical form. At least, that's what Linny said. Anyway, I guess I'll give you a demonstration. Huh, I didn't like that. Was I using it wrong? Maybe if I just... Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. I'll have to let Fremine know. Let's see... Which card did I get? 4.
On peut faire des... Ouais,
Well,
on va faire des mini-jeux en jeu.
fell on the ground
des mini-jeux.
though, so I don't think it
Un
counts
tirage.
as fate.
C'est rigolo.
If you want to get the right answer, you have to let fate decide. Also something Linny said.
Bonsoir Daniel.
So, to put it another way, if picking a card up off the ground is how
Par
to
contre, j'ai
not
toujours le même
believe
problème.
in fate,
Quand je vais sur YouTube, j'ai des
then
recommandations
that
de...
means it must be the wrong answer.
quelqu'un que je déteste. Ça commence par Po, ça finit par Lia. Et je n'arrive pas à m'en débarrasser, je sais pas, il casse les reins, YouTube a modifié les trucs.
Why don't you pick a card?
Sa tête me donne de
Since I
l'urticaire
ran
presque,
into you here,
c'est
that
physique,
means,
c'est horrible.
Our fates are like interfering.
Donc si quelqu'un a
with each
l'astuce
other.
dans les commentaires également, sait-on jamais.
Thank you. This one is final, I promise. Here, take the fatometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate
Faut désinstaller
successfully
YouTube.
changed.
Bah, j'y suis tous les jours.
Anything
frérot.
lower than 5 is a fail. Also,
Mais quand tu vas
if
sur
you have
l'accueil et
your
que tu
own
vois
thoughts about
quelqu'un que
what
tu
I should
détestes,
do,
c'est un peu
feel free
frustrant
to
en fait.
share it. Now that I've got a good problem solver here to help, I don't need to run every little thing by fate.
Oh, laissons faire le destin. Bah vas-y, on va être
Alright,
joueur.
then let's see where
Pas
fate
maintenant
will
Neliel.
lead
Là
me.
je suis en train de rec. Alors, contrôle aléatoire déclenché par le destinomètre servent souvent d'indicateur pour le cours du destin. Entre 1 et 20. D'accord. Ok. Donc faut faire au moins 5, c'est ça? Ça dépend. C'est quoi l'objectif de contrôle? J'ai lu à l'arrache, j'ai rien compris. Ah, contrôle échoué.
Back to the drinks.
Mais-
There's 20 cards in total, numbered 1 to 20. So there's only a 1 in 5 chance of drawing less than a 5. I should also mention, this time the cutoff was 5, but I just set that to wherever I
J'ai
feel
réussi à
like.
perdre alors que j'avais 3 chances sur 4 de gagner, globalement.
Nope, I said it was your decision. I'm not gonna waste any more energy dragging my feet. Besides, the drinks reception is technically part of the job as an official publicity event. I might get sued for breach of contract, and that would be a huge pain in the butt. One other thing. Do you want to come with me? If you're free, I mean. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Attends, je l'ai déjà là? Le destinomètre. Le destinomètre! C'est un 2 ou un 12? Qu'est-ce que... Pourquoi le 0 il est aussi moche? C'est quel chiffre? C'est quoi? Là j'ai ES, hein, excusez-moi, mais... C'est quoi, c'est 0,8? 0,8. 12, ok. Bizarre l'orthographe, là. Enfin la police d'écriture. 0,2, le 0 est très bizarre. Hein. Ok. Bon, on pourra faire des tirages au sort, enfin des... Bref. Ah, Bah go, il traite jusqu'à ce soir, Zénic. C'est que poser la question sur YouTube, ça va rien changer, Nelly, c'est la même réponse. Hein.
There you are, Lynette.
À la
Where
fin...
did you disappear to? Leone and I
Regarde, il y
have
a
been
des
looking
jumelles. Là.
everywhere
En plus,
for you.
t'adores...
Wait, where did you get the
T'adores
cat?
Lynette. Go la faire en même temps que moi, là. En plus, t'as des chats. Trop bien.
I found her outside. Do either of you happen to recognize her?
I don't think so. Could belong to one of the guests, I suppose.
Fair enough. It was a long shot.
So sorry we couldn't help you, Lynette.
Don't worry. We'll ask around for you. Leone's probably just being forgetful.
Maybe you could leave her with us. We'll take her to the reception desk and see if they know anything. And if not, we'll just keep looking.
Sure. I would help, but I'm a little preoccupied. Sorry to dump this on you.
It's no trouble at all. We're happy to help however we can.
Also, if it's no trouble, I mean, could we maybe get an autograph? And maybe a photo too?
Leone, you can't spring that on her now. Not while she's working. At least wait until the event's finished. One last thing, Lynette. Director Mariu's looking for you. We'll take the cat to the front desk now. See you later.
I'm not usually required at these kinds of events, so I don't even have an event mode. Alright, guess I'd better go see the director.
Spectacular choreography, a masterpiece of mise-en-scène, and the performance, oh my, groundbreaking, dripping with, je ne sais quoi. My congratulations on another magnificent show, sir.
Yes, I, for one, was particularly captivated by the clearly allegorical narrative undertones. The Lost Puppet shines a spotlight on the impact of technological advances in our modern society, particularly as they relate to changing modes of emotional expression and the challenge of mutual intelligibility. Such a pioneering work, so far ahead of its time. A tour de force of avant-garde theater.
I can already see the headlines of tomorrow's newspapers. They will certainly be singing your praise, Director Mariu.
But it was a group effort, of course. To convey emotions in a silent show with no facial expressions, the entire cast had to go above and beyond. Everyone truly outdid themselves.
Speaking of the cast, Jillian, another strong performance from you in Director Mariu's latest show, as of course we've all come to expect from your numerous successful collaborations to date.
That's quite an overstatement. I've only ever played supporting roles.
On that point, you stated a few months ago in an interview that you were looking to secure a leading role in your next show. What led you to the decision to stay in a supporting role this time around?
We had a discussion about this, and while Lynette hadn't previously performed in an acting role, we were blown away by her talent, and she was a perfect fit for this character. Quite simply, this was the role she was born to play.
Exactly. I was honored to share the stage with her. Lynette worked extremely hard in all of the rehearsals, and she's an incredibly talented actress.
Ça m'avait pas manqué, les escapades.
Oh, Lynette's back!
Hey, Lynette, where have you been?
Were you in standby mode? Some reports say you switched that state to recharge after a show.
Ah, method acting, of course. Such a compelling portrayal of a mechanical puppet could only be achieved by an actor who lives and breathes their role even while offstage.
Those seemingly stilted movements were in fact an inspired portrayal of the character. The ostensibly bad acting, in reality, was the product of supreme acting skill.
Oh, I went outside and there was this cat there, so I played with the cat for a bit.
A cat? We've long heard that you are a kind soul as well as an incredible actress. No wonder your debut performance has garnered such popularity.
This show looks on track to break box office records for avant-garde theater. Lynette, any words for the fans?
Not really, no.
I believe Lynette is trying to say that the act of performance itself is the actor's true means of connecting with their fans.
Oh, I see. Lynette, any comments?
Right, exactly.
But don't you want the fans to know how you're feeling right now after the hugely successful opening of your first ever show?
That's true.
I'm sure the fans would love to learn a bit more about you too.
How interesting.
Donc 10, ça veut dire une chance sur 2. Ah, on est bon. Tu serais pas un peu fatane, Elil? Attends, ça veut dire qu'on peut avoir des fins différentes en fonction de la carte, là?
Oh, really? I'm so sorry.
Comment on fait pour
How
avoir toutes les
rude of
fins, là?
me.
What the hell?
Huh? Wait.
Ou alors ça rentre pas en ligne de compte.
You're the traveler who's been in the news. Did you come to see the show?
Wow, are you a fan of Lynette too? Do you have any comments on her first performance?
Yeah, it's just... Turns out, even with you here to share the load, I can't cope with this stuff, even in Tea Party mode. It's a power-saving mode for participating in conversation at tea parties. Normally, I can get through an entire conversation just with, oh, that's true, and how interesting. But at a tea party, I'm not normally
Goutron, c'est un mot que je connais grâce à Genshin.
Stream of questions. The energy consumption of that interview just now was 3 times as much as the average tea party. I think I'd rather pray that I never have to do it again.
Lynette, Director Mariu would like you to join the group photo to commemorate the successful opening of the show.
A group photo?
It's just the members of the troupe, along with Maloney and Corentin. Everyone's waiting for you.
Alright then. See you in a minute.
3, 2, 1, smile.
My thanks to each and every one of you here for your help in making The Lost Puppet a success. The group photo is already being printed as I speak. You can collect your copy from the first floor after the drinks reception concludes. May it serve as a reminder of this fabulous performance every time you see it.
Mariu! Get over here. Let's have another drink.
Maloney.
There's a few things I need
Incroyable,
you to...
I thought the group photo was the final hurdle. Well, at least there's no more people hounding me with questions. I just need to find somewhere to switch to standby mode, and the time will fly by. I hope.
Ah bon, on est d'accord, Zénik. Mais alors comment on fait? Parce que oui, je l'ai pas sur ma page d'accueil direct. Mais dès que je tape Genshin, il est dans les premiers résultats et je ne veux plus le voir. Et c'est nouveau depuis cette semaine, je le voyais pas, je l'avais bloqué. Et là, il a beau être bloqué, je le vois quand même. Parce que oui, quand c'est sur ta page d'accueil, tu peux mettre ne pas suggérer la chaîne ou ça ne m'intéresse pas, enfin je sais plus comment c'est formulé. Mais je trouve ça con, tu vois, tu tapes Genshin, bah tu vois la chaîne de ce mec là, mais non en fait. Il n'y a pas moyen de le faire disparaître, je trouve ça...
Traveler? Lynette?
Caca boudin.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean, managed to get an invite? I'm an expert in the dramatic arts. Of course I was invited. Naturally, people wanted to hear my comments on the emerging art form that is the masked mime show. Remarkable, and a very worthwhile artistic endeavor, exploring a character with no lines or facial expressions who can only communicate how they feel through their movement. Your performance was beyond anything I could have imagined, Lynette. Clearly, this was a very suitable role for you indeed.
Alors, les contrôles passifs sont des spéciales de contrôle. Ils n'ont pas besoin d'être activement déclenchés. Hein? Ok. Perception réussie. Tandis que Furina partage ses impressions sur la pièce, on peut entendre un bruit.
Is something wrong? No, it's nothing. Please go on.
Oh, basically, I think I'd give it a positive review overall. Just not as gushing as the crowd downstairs.
So, you thought they were pretty over the top too?
In fairness, it's normal to bring along some vocal supporters for publicity when a new show opens, but still, this was something else. Then again, I'm no specialist in avant-garde theater. Maybe I'm just not well acquainted with their review criteria. Or maybe it's because I came to the show with some preconceived expectations. I did happen to see the original draft of Mariu's script a while back.
What original draft?
Oh? He didn't show it to you? It must have been a few months ago. He came to me to get some advice from an experienced performer's perspective, and then asked if I could write a few reviews of his new play. I had a lot on my plate at the time, so I had to turn him down. I only skimmed a few sections, but they seemed quite different from the final version. I can't say I remember the plot, but I don't know. The protagonist just
Attends, mais c'est l'escapade de Furina en fait. Je mentir.
Especially in the last two scenes.
Ah,
Still a mechanical puppet on the outside, of course, but she seemed to have more emotional depth on the
inside. Et je parle pas du cul de Wesley.
Emotional depth?
What?
Oh, I'm just thinking aloud here. Don't take it to heart. Besides, a script and a play are two very different beasts.
Pourquoi les chiens de fontaine sont mieux travaillés que les humains?
Bon,
abuse pas. Tu dis ça juste parce qu'ils ont des chapeaux.
Especially with a novel art form like a masked
Bon,
mime show. I'm sure Mariu had his reasons for the changes he made. Change of topic. I see you've escaped the crowds to seek refuge on the second floor. Fame can be overwhelming at first, can't it? Perhaps you'd benefit from hearing about the experiences of a veteran celebrity such as myself.
No thanks, I'm good. Pretty sure this will be my first and last time in this situation.
Hey, at least let me finish. I have top tips on dealing with belligerent reporters, slipping away to hunt down snacks during the intermission.
Tell me everything.
First, take a seat, mon ami. We must partake of Hotel de Boer's fine desserts as we talk, lest they go to waste.
That was very educational. I expect most of the people downstairs have left by now. Time to grab my copy of the group photo and get home.
Le rez-de-chaussée, c'est en bas. Hein? Ah, pardon.
The photo must be in this envelope right here. It's finally over. Thank you for sticking around for so long. If it wasn't for you, I don't know how I would have standby moded my way through the last few hours.
Alors, l'ambiance de cette réception est un peu spéciale. Mais de là ce que Lynette veuille partir en plein milieu.
It's fine. It's
Comment
just...
ça vaut pas la peine d'en parler.
It was
Mais qu'est-ce
such
qu'elle
a
raconte?
minor thing. While I was on stage, there was a moment when I felt like someone was looking at me. It was only for an instant, and I didn't even see who it was. But somehow, I knew it was a look of contempt. I got a vague sense of it again during the reception. Like someone was giving me an evil stare. but I couldn't figure out who it was.
Alors, peu de gens arrivent à dissimuler leurs...
Normally,
Ah, mais d'accord.
I'm used to
Bon, bah,
lurking
je
in
verrai
the
une prochaine fois.
shadows on the stage and spying on other people. Or someone just took a disliking to me for no real reason. Sometimes you can like one person and dislike another for equally pointless reasons. Anyway, it was just a momentary stink eye. That's okay. Problem solved. I'm gonna take this envelope and go home now.
Alors, espèce de marionnette sans cœur, vous avez ruiné cette œuvre. Sympa.
You have destroyed this
On est sur
work of art.
Twitter ou bien...
Step down from the leading role at once. Based on the tone, I'd say threat letter is right.
Bon, rien de spécial, elles ne reconnaissent pas l'écriture. Personne ne surveillait non plus les enveloppes. Ouais.
I don't think we're gonna find any more clues here. Yes, let's. Whatever destroyed means, it could have something to do with the original script that Farina mentioned. Also, I'm gonna have to ask you to stick around a while longer.
I can't believe how well the whole Lynette's debut acting role thing worked out. Even the avant-garde box office is lapping it up.
How could I ever have doubted you? If you hadn't stuck to your guns and kept sending those invitations, this opportunity would have passed us by.
See? I told you. All the times she'd refused in the past were all the more reason to keep inviting her, because it turns into a big talking point. Can you imagine if you'd gone with Jillian? You'd have been lucky to get half the ticket sales you've ended up with.
True. Well, Jillian still needs to get a few more productions under her belt.
Do you have a moment, Director Mario?
Oh!
Ah, if it isn't the star of the show! We were just talking about you. Oh, and is that the legendary traveler with you? I'm guessing you're here to discuss the show with the director? Oh, you're a talented and hardworking actress, Lynette. It's no wonder you're getting such rave reviews. I'll leave you artists to discuss your work in peace. Maryu, make sure you give your star performer and her friend your full attention.
I certainly will. Lynette carries the fortunes of our entire troupe on her shoulders.
Mr. Maloney. An investor or something, I think. I've never asked him.
So, what can I do for the two of you? I'm afraid I'll have to dash soon as I'm meeting some friends from the newspaper. Otherwise, I'd love to stay longer.
We heard that the original script for The Lost Puppet was quite different from the final show. I'm kind of curious to know what the protagonist was like in that version.
Oh, well, this is a surprise. I didn't think you'd be interested in that sort of thing. It's not uncommon for scripts to undergo major changes as they're being brought to the stage. But I'm afraid there's not much to tell you in this case. The protagonist has stayed the same from the beginning to end. A mechanical puppet with a bumbling body but a sensitive soul. A stranger in time who doesn't belong. There's no doubt about it. You are the protagonist, and the protagonist is you. The success of one is the success of the other, and that's what made this show an artistic triumph.
Sorry, you've lost me. Can you put it in plain words?
All right then. Delving deep in the search of core truths is the job of an artist, after all. You shouldn't give your attention to early drafts of the script, Lynette. All it would do is sow confusion where you already have clarity. The current script is the final version because it is the best version, and your performance best brings that script to life. Why, if it weren't for you, I doubt any audience would give our show the time of day. What letter? Oh my goodness!
Il a l'air troublé.
Destroyed this work of art? Really?
Well, Director Mario, any idea who might have written it?
No. Who on earth would write such nonsense? Absolutely not. Without Lynette, this show would be over. Everyone's hard work would go to waste.
Yeah, maybe Jillian could fill in for me for a while.
What? No way. Out of the question. The protagonist has to be played by Lynette. Jillian can't... She's just not what the audience is looking for. Ah, I've got it. It's a competitor. Yes, this letter must be from a competitor of ours who's trying to get under Lynette's skin. You can't lie low. That's just what they want you to do. The moment you step back from performing, they'll put their rumor mill into overdrive and drag us through the mud. They're just waiting for their chance to kick us while we're down.
A competitor? Really?
Definitely. Those lowlifes. Slander and libel are all their specialties. They drown out the truth with a flood of misinformation, and they stop at nothing once they get riled up. There's so many of them out there. Fame always seems to attract haters, no matter what you do to try and keep everyone happy. But don't worry, I will get to the bottom of this. Stay strong, Lynette, and keep up the good work on stage. I have to go and meet my friends from the newspapers now, but rest assured, I'll be discussing countermeasures with them.
So, a competitor, huh? I kinda doubt it. We've dealt with those types before. Usually their goal is to steal our venue for their own show, or to cover up a scandal by planting a story to divert public attention. But at the moment, I don't think anyone's got a reason to do any of that stuff. Let alone pull a stunt like this. A threat letter is quite extreme. Besides, when I felt that evil stare, I'm pretty sure it was coming from somewhere backstage. So that rules out a lot of people. I'm actually more concerned about Mario. When I mentioned Jillian, his reaction was pretty unusual. Especially since Maloney mentioned that the initial plan was to cast Jillian as the lead. Sounds like there was an original protagonist as well as an original script. I should probably go talk to her. Yep, she told me she lives in the Fleuve Sandra.
C'est quoi ce marqueur là? Rendez-vous au fleuve. Voilà, je suis au fleuve Sandra, qui peut. What the hell? Je peux m'asseoir. Ah non, mais c'est qu'il y a la porte en dessous. Je suis fada, je comprenais pas. Go bouger. Alors, par contre, c'est aussi long que ça une escapade? J'ai pu me souvenir que c'était moins de 40 minutes, on est déjà bientôt à 35. Et j'ai pas l'impression d'avoir fait beaucoup de choix en fait. Ça me perturbe un peu. Alors, par là. Hello, miss.
Lynette? What are you doing? You're not welcome here.
I've been to the Fleuve Sandra plenty of times before. This is the first I'm hearing about me not being welcome.
Things are different around here. You might be used to a crowd of bootlicking morons fawning over you wherever you go, but not down here. We know what you are.
Bootlicking morons? I don't know. I've never met this kid before.
Gina, stop that! Go home now!
Jillian!
No buts. How many times do I have to tell you? That had nothing to do with Lynette. If you don't leave right now, I swear I'll never invite you to one of my shows ever again!
Jillian! Just because Lady Farina speaks highly of you, it doesn't mean you're all that!
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child. That's why I never let her visit me at work.
It's okay. I have younger siblings too, so I get it. She's in her rebellious phase, huh? If you let angsty kids get you riled up, they'll drain all your energy. So don't worry, I won't let it get to me.
Well, the situation's a little different in this case, but still, thank you. So
we heard about it from Maloney. He said you were originally supposed to play the lead.
Maloney, huh? Of course he couldn't keep his mouth shut. I'm sorry. I never mentioned it because Director Mariu was very clear that I mustn't let any of it affect you. What's this? I don't know, who would do something like this?
Don't be scared, Jillian. Just tell us what you know.
Okay, I'll try. It's true. I was originally cast as the lead in The Lost Puppet. I've worked with Director Mariu many times before, but only in minor roles. The audiences and critics never had much to say about me. Nothing terrible, but nothing amazing either. A few months ago, Mariu started working on a new show, so I plucked up the courage to ask him if I could take the leading role. He was hesitant, but he agreed to let me try for the part. We did a few rehearsals, everything seemed to be going okay, but then...
There's been a change of plan, Jillian. The leading role will now be played by Lynette.
Lynette? But she always turns these things down, doesn't she?
And that's why we cannot afford to waste this opportunity. Jillian, I understand how you must be feeling. But Maloney and myself have to do what's best for the production as a whole. Next time, the lead will be yours. I promise.
I was incredibly disappointed at first, but I also know full well that I don't have Lynette's star power. Without Lynette, how could we ever convince people to pay money to go and see a masked mime show? And if the show was a flop with me in the leading role, how would I answer to the director and the rest of the cast? Then, I got to meet you on stage and found that you're really down to earth, in a way that not many celebrities are. You were kind to everyone, and your performance wasn't bad. Whatever disappointment I had left at that point, I certainly wasn't about to take it out on you.
By wasn't bad, you mean it wasn't great either. So, I'm guessing Mariu changed the script to simplify the protagonist, make her a dumbed-down version of the mechanical puppet that I could actually play.
He did make some changes to the script, yes. Jaik, one of the other actors. He likes to collect Dr. Mariu's old drafts because he hopes to be a director himself one day. He also lives nearby. I can arrange for you to meet him at the tavern.
Makes sense. I always see him talking to Mariu. Alright, see you at the tavern then.
La taverne. Rendez-vous à la taverne. Je comprends pas l'intérêt de me faire jouer 8 secondes pour faire un saut 30 mètres plus bas. S'ils ont peur qu'on s'endorme, faut peut-être faire des trucs plus courts en fait,
Jillian
Yo-Yo.
brought me up to speed on the situation. That's always the way with pen and paper drafts. Even the final script is full of last-minute changes by the director. There should be a cleaner copy of the original script in here somewhere. Sorry, it's all a bit mixed up. I just grabbed the whole stack of paper since I was in a rush.
No problem. Now activating search mode. I'll go through one page at a time.
Alors... Oh my god. 15, c'est chaud là. En 4 plus 5. D'accord. Ah. Oupsie. 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 12 c'est faisable avec le plus 5. Ok, 13. Ça va. Et du coup, ils ont dit quoi si c'est ex aequo? C'est un échec? Je sais même pas. Let's go! Alors... Waouh! And to finish. Hmm, 15-15, ça fait quoi? Ça fait une réussite, ok. Donc on a eu qu'un seul échec au final.
The protagonist returns to the ruins where she began and performs a dance in honor of her deceased companions. She dances until her joints have rusted stiff and mechanical parts are falling from her body. Yep, that's not something a novice could hope to pull off after just a few months of rehearsals. Frankly, I think that the original script is much better, and the original lead is the best fit. Jillian, shall I go tell Mariu to put you back in the leading role?
Huh? What? Are you serious? But the next show is at the Opera Epiclese. It's such a huge opportunity.
But not such a rare one for me, though, right?
That's different. This isn't you as part of a magic duo. It's a chance to star as the main character in a show. You'll reach whole new heights of fame.
Fame in small doses has its perks, but too much and I'll get overloaded. But if you play the lead, the fame will be yours, and I get to be free. Sounds like a win-win, don't you think?
It'll never work. There's no way Director Mariu or Maloney would ever agree to it. The set for Act 4 would need to change, as would all the marketing materials. And that would mean asking Maloney for a lot more Mora. Changing actors at the last minute is just too risky. If anything went wrong, it could bankrupt the whole troupe. Plus, Maloney's friends have already published a ton of articles saying how this is the role that Lynette was born to play. No one else can play the protagonist now. If Lynette quit the show and I took her place...
Le destinomètre, ça sert juste à tirer un dé, Naliel. Genre, si tu fais plus de 10, ben, c'est moi qui choisis le boss, fais une connerie comme ça, voilà, c'est juste pour faire un mini-jeu en game. Et je trouve que c'est une idée sympa, ça va pas chercher très loin, mais... c'est pas pire que le pistolet à bulles, quoi.
Stop the whole show? But all the people in the troupe, months and months of everyone's hard work would all be
Bientôt on pourra peut-être faire un Shifumi, où tu choisiras au moins... Parce que là c'est du pur hasard. Ah, ouais, mais comme on a trouvé, on a plus... Ouais, plus 12. Et putain, si j'échoue... Oh putain, heureusement qu'on avait ça. Mais ce qui m'inquiète un peu pour ce truc, c'est que si je veux faire les autres scénarios, si ça dépend des tirages, on n'est pas dans la merde. Hein. Mais bon, après il y a le bouton skip.
That's a bold plan.
qui du coup doit rentrer en jeu quand tu refais les
You know, it's a little
escapades pour
crazy,
avoir les autres
but it
fins
might actually
et abréger.
work.
No way. It's not worth taking such a huge risk just for a chance to be in the spotlight.
Jillian, you said before, whatever disappointment I had left, I wasn't about to take out on you. In other words, that disappointment is still there, but you've kept it bottled up inside. Be honest. You still hope to play the leading role, don't you?
But the thought of putting so many people out just for my sake?
You think they'd be put out? That's not how I see it.
Jillian, you were more dedicated than anyone during the rehearsals for the original script. We all saw how hard you worked for this role. And I think you know that unless we decide to make a stand here, the path we're on is only going to take us further and further from our dreams, all of us. So take it from me, you would not be putting us out.
You guys... Okay. Let's do it. I will play my part.
Yes! I knew you'd come around. All right, I'll let the rest of the troupe know and we'll start preparing immediately.
Wonderful. This solves everything.
Wait, but what about the threat letter? Do you have any idea who sent it?
As long as we stick to the plan, I'll give up the lead role, so it won't matter anymore, right?
But surely you want to know who it's from. If they're out there and no one's keeping an eye on them, what if they come looking for you?
I doubt they will. It's supposed to be a threat, but they didn't even say what would happen if I don't meet their demands. Plus, the handwriting is kinda childish. Doesn't look like a professional intimidator to me. Who knows? Maybe it was just a fan of yours having a moment.
A fan? Of me?
Maybe there's someone out there who really appreciates your talent.
Dix, une chance sur deux. Doudoudou. Doudou, doudou, doudou. 18, waouh! Ouais! Mais du coup, faut tester en multi. Enfin, en multi, j'espère que tout le monde peut interagir avec. Ou alors, faut tous sortir le sien. Faudra tester.
It's getting late. Come on.
Parce que bon, si c'est en solo, je vois pas trop le délire.
I'm such an idiot.
Sorry for manhandling you. You looked like you were seconds away from figuring out who sent the nothing gets back.
Just because Lady Farina speaks highly of you,
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child.
I guess she must have snuck into the drinks reception and overheard our conversation with Farina. She idolizes Jillian, both as an older sister and an actress. And she watched as the dream role Jillian had been waiting to play for so long got snatched away from her by some amateur who's never acted before. To make matters worse, all the critics were hailing this. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Like I said, getting angry at angsty teenagers is draining. Besides, if it was my younger brother or sister and I was in Jillian's position once, back when Linny and I were starting out, before we got famous, we just had to take things a day at a time. Doing our shows, slowly trying to build up our reputation. So I can understand Gina's frustration. Still, no, the way she looks at me is indignant, frustrated, but not malicious. Plus, she didn't even try to hide how she felt. Whoever was giving me that evil stare was backstage. Blending into the crowd at a drinks reception is one thing, but trying to blend in backstage, where everyone's on high alert waiting to be called on stage, would be a lot more difficult. We'll find out who it is before too long. In 2 days' time, at the next show, I think it will become very clear. On that note, guess I'll see you at the Opera House. Bye for now.
Le surlendemain, 16h-18h. Elle est très longue cette escapade. Je suis pas fada. T'as combien de comptes? Daniel. Donne mon cadré. Comme ça. Big dab. Voilà. Alors, surlendemain, on a dit. J'aurais pu faire ça en plus pendant que ça défile. Hein. Je crois que je m'en fous. Surlendemain, hop là. 38. Est-ce que t'as 38 prime? Je le veux bien. Ok. On y est bientôt. Le mec est riche. L'opéra. Je crois qu'en plus ça nous TP un peu loin en vrai. Ça sent pas mal sur le jeu. Quel fake. Ça éclipse ça. Tu as bien auto fini. J'en sais rien mais ça fait 50 minutes. C'est super long. Pour une escapade, dans mes souvenirs c'était plus dans les 40. Hein. Et puis je trouve qu'elle est pas... C'est pas très intéressant. Après escapade c'est coup-ci coup-ça quoi. C'est...
Oh, you're here! Lynette and Jillian are busy getting ready, so please come with me.
That puppet in the middle, is that Lynette? She's so pretty.
It's starting. Keep your voice down.
What? Le personnage principal, une danseuse, a été abandonnée dans des ruines. Elle soupçonne que ses compagnons l'ont abandonnée à cause de son problème aux jambes et aux pieds qui ne lui permettent plus de danser aussi bien qu'avant. Ce n'est qu'en rencontrant un groupe de poupées abandonnées comme elle qu'elle comprend ce qu'il en est réellement. Son problème de mobilité n'est pas dû au vieillissement. N'est dû qu'au vieillissement, pardon, je sais pas lire. Elle n'est qu'une marionnette qui danse.
Wow. I thought it would be hard to follow, but
Je ne
in
sais
the end
pas
it was actually
lire.
very clear.
Faut que je tourne au CP.
Even though her face was expressionless and she didn't speak the whole time, I felt like I could really understand how the protagonist was feeling.
Complètement nul. Acte 2. Au cœur du voyage. Une étrange rumeur circule parmi les marionnettes mécaniques. Au bout du monde, il y aurait un dieu, des marionnettes capables de transformer les marionnettes en véritables êtres humains. Le personnage principal et ses compagnons se lancent alors dans cette quête. Mais ce n'est qu'une rumeur répandue par des humains hostiles aux machines. À la fin du voyage, le groupe est capturé, recyclé, fondu et torturé sans raison par ces humains. En couvrant la fuite de ses compagnons, le personnage principal est enseveli sous des décombres et tombe dans un profond sommeil.
Director Mariyu really is a master of his craft. And so is the actress in the lead role.
I have a friend who saw the show on the opening day. They thought the critics overstated how good it was, but I gotta say, the protagonist is incredible.
I can't believe it's only been
J'ai
a
adoré la
few
mise en
days
scène.
since the last show.
C'était incroyable.
Lynette's improved so much. Just wow. I'm speechless. Words simply cannot do justice to the sheer excellence we witnessed from Lynette on stage today.
Your penchant for the hyperbolic strikes again, Almery. Clearly, you weren't at a loss for words when you were writing your article. I saw you hand it to the journalist. Trying to get your critique into the papers the moment the show is over, are you?
Well, you know how it is. The early critics get all the readers. Wouldn't you agree, Mariyu?
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Ah, the first half was a huge success. Even I could tell the acting was top tier.
My apologies,
bonsoir,
Mr.
Styx.
Maloney.
Comment ça va?
Excuse me for a second. I need to have a little talk with my actors.
Oh, very well. Hey, while you're at it, this might be a good time to talk future collaborations with Lynette.
Are you guys sure this is gonna work? What if Director Mariyu pushes back? We're already halfway there. We can't back out now. All we need to do is stick to the plan.
What is this plan that you're so intent on hiding from me, hmm?
Director Mariu, I thought you were talking to Maloney and the critics.
Korantan and Armory have both finished their articles. I went to greet them as a mere formality, but you seem to have availed yourselves of my absence during the first half to defy me. What have you done? Was that really Lynette playing the lead role?
Ta-da!
Director Mariu? I was the one playing the lead role just now.
I switched costumes and masks with Jillian so that I could be the protagonist's companion and stay out of the limelight.
Lynette, why on earth would you do this?
You know my acting is amateur. The only reason I'm being seen as a pro, let alone a pioneer, is because you have critics supporting the show. If they'd seen me in the leading role during the first half, they wouldn't be expecting anything more. But what happens now that they've seen Jillian in the role? If you force me to play the lead in the second half, they'll be wondering, why is the actress suddenly giving such an underwhelming performance right at the climax of the whole story? These are just some of the questions that will be on everyone's minds during the second half. And those questions will follow them out the doors of the theater after the show ends. There's only one way for you to save your reputation, and that's to keep Jillian as the lead all the way to the end.
Absolutely not. I'd sooner announce that we're having technical difficulties and need to stop the show. If I keep Jillian as the lead for the second half, what do you think will happen in the curtain call when she takes her mask off? Everyone will see that we've changed actors. What will your fans think? They're only here because of you, and what about all the critics who support you? If we get on the wrong side of them, it'll be the death of the whole show. There'd be tickets to refund, fines to pay for breach of contract. The whole troupe's hard work would go down the drain. Don't you see how much this would cost us? You can't just take a job on a whim, then abandon your responsibility the moment you don't feel like doing it anymore. You're playing games with other people's hopes and dreams.
Director Mariu, please. You're not being fair to Lynette.
Actually, Jillian, he's half right. I did kind of take this on a whim. But my responsibility here is making sure you get back the role that belongs to you.
And I guess part of that responsibility lies with me, considering I badgered you into accepting the job. Sorry I'm a little late to the show. Work's been keeping me pretty busy lately.
Lenny? What do you want? Do you think you can snap your fingers and make all my problems magically disappear?
That might be a little tricky, but instead, I could make something else magically appear.
What's this?
A draft complaint letter, my contract, your legal fees, reimbursement for the tickets, and an advance on the penalty fee for breach of contract. Mr. Mariu, I'm stepping down from the leading role, regardless of whether you choose to cancel the rest of today's show.
If you do suffer unforeseen financial losses from this, you're free to seek damages as per the contract. And if you want to file a lawsuit, there's a draft here that you can use if you need it.
What? I can't believe this. You're literally handing me a lawsuit against you with a straight face. Of course. All this Mora, it's a pittance to you, isn't it? Must be nice to have the luxury of prior success and fame. Look at us. We're huge stars. One minute we want to go on stage. The next we feel like backing out of the contract. But that's okay. We're famous. We can afford it. You have no respect for other people's work. You're treating other people's hopes and dreams like a big joke. You don't give a hoot how much this show means to other people. You don't even care that the whole production might have to shut down because of you.
That's not true. I do care. And I'm under no illusion as to how much this show means to you.
Oh, brilliant deduction there. Of course it means a lot to me. This is my show. That's the only reason I asked you to be in it in the first place.
Really? Then why do your eyes tell a different story? The way you look at me, It's full of contempt. Almost as if I've destroyed your work of art.
What? I would never think that.
A couple days ago, I asked some associates to do some digging for me. I was interested to know who else you invited to play the lead apart from Lynette. Surprise, surprise. Turns out that all the other famous actresses you asked either had prior commitments or weren't a good fit for the role. They all turned you down.
And I would have turned you down too, if not for an unlikely set of coincidences.
You didn't send those invitations because you were looking for a better actress than Jillian, but because your investor wanted a big name in your show, right?
Director Mariyu.
To get Maloney on your side, you chose to make Jillian the understudy, and then look for an opportunity for her to take the lead.
I bet you were torn at first, weren't you? Do you stick to the tried and tested formula? Choose Lynette, use her celebrity to get the critics on your side so that you and your investors can line your pockets?
Or do you choose Jillian, so that you and your longtime collaborator can stage the show of your dreams, the original, unedited version of The Lost Puppet?
Oh, I didn't betray myself.
You mentioned prior success and fame earlier, but you're a well-known director yourself, with countless works to your name. Wouldn't that make you successful too? Or maybe, deep down, none of your current achievements really count as success to you.
Right now, you have an opportunity to send Jillian onto that stage and perform the second half as you always imagined it, faithful to your original script. Your work would be displayed for all of Fontaine to see in its true, perfect form.
Did you say?
Or will you act now before Maloney and the critics can protest and make your dream come true on the stage? And Jillian's dream. In fact, the dreams of the whole troupe.
The whole troupe?
Director Mariyu. Actually, most of the money Lenny brought came from us. We all chipped in.
We've worked with you for many years now. Your troupe has been here for you all the way from the empty theaters where we first performed to the opera house today. We watched as you slowly
Après,
started
il y a quand même un truc cool. Tu débloques une espèce de chapeau qui tire une carte entre 1 et 20. Donc on pourra faire des trucs à SNES, genre si je fais au moins 10, tu viens faire les boss hebdo. Ce genre de truc.
But this is just a temporary measure. I did it for the good of the troupe. And besides, this is how the whole industry works. Everyone else is doing it.
Yes, we know. Back when you started, you had to bite the bullet and do these things to keep the troupe afloat. But then what happened? You began to embrace these methods more and more, becoming so reliant on them that every show you put out is overhyped by the media, and every script you write is edited to suit some celebrity's needs. Surely you must have noticed what's happening. While we've been performing at bigger and bigger theaters with each show, the applause is getting quieter and quieter each night.
J'ai vu quelqu'un qui s'appelle Jake.
Criticism from people who've seen the show is growing.
Ça existe.
Maloney's friends are sycophants. They don't care if the audience is disappointed because the show doesn't live up to their glowing reviews. They praise the things they like and skirt around the things they don't.
Look, I know everyone's using the same promotional tactics, but does that really make it okay?
Attends, tu vas vraiment jouer à LoL là? Mon pauvre. C'est bien, c'est que les deux armes qu'on a fait ça m'a pas du tout donné envie de rejouer. Et en hyper roll, j'ai gagné que 50 points. J'en ai fait 2, c'est un enfer.
Next time, huh? Yeah. Next time, you won't use your connections. Next time, you won't pay off the critics. Next time, you'll let Jillian play the lead.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. If you make some money once, you'll want to do it again.
Tu veux pas risquer Frame avec Fiasco?
Slowly but surely, you turn your back on your dreams.
I won't turn my back on my dreams any longer, Director Mariyu. Never again.
Me neither.
Attends, mais j'ai forcément gagné. Qu'est-ce que... Ah non, faut faire 25. Ah merde. Ah oui, non, ça pue un peu la merde. Il y a 8, 40, 31... Ouais, non, c'était pas... Ok. J'ai cru que 25, c'était le bonus que j'avais.
I had dreams too.
Acte 3. Dans les décombres. On ne sait pas combien de temps s'est écoulé avant qu'un groupe de marionnettes mécaniques déblaye les décombres, libère le personnage principal et la réactive. Elle lui annonce alors qu'elle est enterrée ici depuis des millénaires et que désormais, les marionnettes mécaniques gouvernent le monde. Il s'avère que les marionnettes qui ont déclenché le soulèvement ne sont autres que les compagnons du personnage principal qu'elle a sauvé lors de leur voyage. Aujourd'hui, toutes les marionnettes du monde vénèrent le personnage principal. Ses sauveurs lui disent qu'elle peut avoir tout ce qu'elle veut. Mais il n'y a qu'une chose simple qu'elle souhaite. Retrouver ses amis.
Huh. The plot here seems a little different from what the reviews said.
The protagonist wanted to return to the stage, so the puppets replaced all her parts with the latest ones available, built her a grand opera house, and summoned a huge audience.
And in the end, she forgot herself amidst the applause and cheers of her fellow puppets.
Hey, no spoilers! Huh? Wait, hang on, that's not even what's happening. The set has changed back to the one from the first act.
Oh, Archons. Please let this work out.
No need to be so nervous, Director Mariyu. We only told you Lynette would be quitting the show to get you to make a decision. We wanted you to believe that this show would have to end after today, no matter what you decided. But in truth, I believe that if we choose our words carefully, there's no reason we can't get Maloney to come around and keep the show going.
You really thought this plan through. But I'm not upset about what you've done. What's worrying me now isn't how Maloney will react or whether the show will get cancelled. It's the audience. I've always thought the original script is better, but will it move them like I've always hoped? When Jillian does her curtain call, will they applaud her? What if people only came to see the show for Lynette? And because of the reviews, what if they don't really care about the show at all? It feels like I've been hiding inside my safe little castle for too long.
We're right here with you. We'll watch it to the end.
Alors, le personnage principal refuse l'offre des autres marionnettes de remplacer ses pièces mécaniques et de construire une grande scène en son honneur. Son seul désir est de revoir ses compagnons, c'est ce que j'avais dit, wololo. Mais on lui apprend qu'ils ont donné leur vie au nom du soulèvement. Leur corps repose en paix dans les ruines où ils se sont rencontrés pour la première fois. Le personnage principal retourne seul dans les ruines, là où son voyage a commencé. Elle exécute la dernière danse sur la tombe de ses compagnons. Ses circuits brûlent, des parties de son corps se brisent et tombent, mais elle continue de danser jusqu'à ce qu'elle s'éteigne complètement. Des milliers d'années se sont écoulées avant qu'elle ne retrouve une raison de danser.
Wow. Okay, this ending is much better.
I love how they brought back the set from Act 1 and gave it a whole new meaning. What a fantastic twist. Time for the curtain call. It's the moment of truth. The applause continue after I take off the mask. I could always leave my mask on. No one would ever know.
This is what fame looks like, when it's truly deserved.
Jillian, you were amazing! Syra was tearing up when you did your final solo dance. Well, so are you.
Really? I was so nervous. My legs felt like they turned to jelly.
What looked like an actor unsteady on her feet was in fact a poignant expression of the protagonist's frailty and her...
Hey, Mario! What the heck was that? Why wasn't Lynette playing the lead?
Our articles are already going to press. You better have a good explanation for this.
It was my...
Hey now, it was all of our...
Hold on. The decision was mine, and mine alone. They had nothing to do with it. If you have any concerns, gentlemen, then please direct them to me.
Marry you? So it was you? Well then, I trust you'll have no objection to me
pas une nouvelle
pulling the
méta Gwen
plug
mid
on this
à
production.
Italia.
Director Mariu, Mr. Maloney, what on earth is going on? Why was Lynette not in the lead role? It took a lot of convincing from me for her to accept the role, and I had to turn down some big work opportunities to come and watch her performance today. You have some explaining to do.
Lenny, it was all his idea. Marry you. Explain yourself.
Wait, Lenny, as a matter of fact, this was a piece of performance art. In this play, the masks and costumes serve to obscure the differences between characters, and by extension, the difference between human and machine. We took that idea to the next level with an actor swap, blurring the lines between one performer and the next. So it's in service of the ambitious artistic goals of the production.
What?
It's similar to deceiving the audience in a magic show. We employed this technique as a means of breaking the fourth wall. It allows the audience to more intuitively understand the cognitive dissonance felt by the protagonist as a machine trying to reconcile the notion of her humanity. The audience's experience mirrors the protagonist's own confusion and becomes part of the artistic performance itself.
Hold up. What is this nonsense?
Oh, I see. Well, bravo, Director Mariu. You even had me fooled.
That's probably more because you just don't really understand avant-garde art very well, Lenny.
Maybe so, maybe so. Well, perhaps it went over my head, but I'm sure our experts here saw the whole thing coming a mile away.
You must have worked it out by the end of the first half, surely. Mr. Amory, I just heard that you managed to write your review after just the first 2 acts.
Yes, you're right. Director Mariu and I are old friends. You should have said something. Then I could have played along even better.
Yes, well, to deceive the audience, you must first deceive your closest companions. I have to give credit to Lynette and her experience in performing magic. That's what inspired me to take my art to the next level.
You mean your show was partly inspired by Lynette's background in magic? Well, in that case, I'll have to plug it to everyone I know.
Unfortunately, I think Mr. Maloney is going to cancel the show.
Cancel the show? Mr. Maloney, is this true?
While I accept that deceiving the audience in the manner you did certainly has artistic merit, this is not a magic show, and we don't want our audience demanding their money back.
A very valid criticism, and one that I humbly accept. If that happens, we're prepared to reimburse and apologize. Plus, it looks like Jillian is better than me at delivering the excellence people want to see. I'm sure audiences will be very happy with the show if she's allowed to stay in the leading role.
Maloney, I believe there should still be time to tweak my article. From the look on Lynette's face, I think she's being sincere.
Oh, one other thing. We managed to get a meeting with Lady Farina earlier. All thanks to the Traveler's reputation, of course. Anyway, she agreed to write a review focusing on Jillian's performance and the quality of the show as a whole. She promised to give her honest opinion. And I'm sure today's audience will be discussing her performance too. There's sure to be a variety of opinions.
Oh, I mean, art at its finest, clearly. But I'll have to give it some thought before I decide exactly what to write.
Oh, of course. Always good to put some thought into these things. Especially now, with a growing range of voices out there. I imagine competition for readers becomes more fierce when everyone's discussing the topic.
Quarantan, Amory, let's go.
Thank you both so much. Without the two of you, who knows how much further down that cynical path I would have gone. I always told myself that once I'd made enough Mora, I'd get back to doing what I loved. But somewhere along the way, I started to lose sight of what that was. Just like those critics with their dishonest review. You're right. Yes, I'm a very lucky man. Anyway, enough about my problems. What are we going to do about the threat letter that Lynette received? I've been looking into it a lot over the past couple of days, but it doesn't seem like it was one of our competitors after all.
Ah, yes, about that.
Lynette, do you have a moment?
Wait, you're Jillian's sister, right?
I'm sorry. Gina insisted on coming to see Lynette. I couldn't stop her.
Lynette, I'm sorry! That letter? I was the one who wrote it.
What?
Gina? So it was you?
Director, it's time for... Oh, okay. Weird energy here.
I think we came at a bad time.
Lynette, Gina must have been worried sick about me. I'm sure even she wouldn't do something so stupid if she was in her right mind. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll make it up to you somehow.
Jillian, no! This is completely my fault, and I'm the one who should have to bear the consequences. I got the wrong end of the stick and completely misjudged Lynette.
Well, since I haven't actually suffered any losses, seeking redress could be difficult. Maybe we could just let this one slide?
Really? Are you sure?
After all, Gina wouldn't be the first person to ever misjudge me, right?
True. True.
In any case, I think we can all agree it was a misunderstanding and nothing more. No need to overcomplicate things.
But still, I was wrong to write that letter. I should own
If that's what you really want, then how about helping out backstage?
Huh? Backstage?
The crew could always use an extra hand. Plus, it'll give your older sister a chance to keep an eye on you. And stop you getting into any more trouble.
Thank you, Lynette. Really, thank you so much.
Is it? Mary, you said she's a very promising young actress. And she has natural chemistry with her older sister. In their capable hands, the show doesn't need me to attract an audience anymore. Phew. Freedom at last. Fame is more trouble than it's worth. I'd rather leave that side of things to my brother and the others. I'm happiest when I get to sit in a quiet place, watch them do their thing, and cheer them on. Yep, exactly like I'm doing now.
Est-ce que c'était pas la meilleure escapade ever une fois? Trop bien la musique. Après on retrouve un peu l'ambiance du début de Fontaine, j'aime bien. On va dire que c'est le seul truc que j'apprécie. Parce que c'est vrai que dans les dernières matchs on s'est un peu écarté de ce truc là. Juste pour finir. Ah, t'es plus sur le jeu. Attends, je voulais voir en multi comment ça marche. Donc ça, tu le poses. Quoi? Comment ça, mon ref? Parce que je suis sur la scène, parce que je suis dans un bâtiment. Bah tant pis, on fera pas de tirage en multi. Anyway. Voilà. Ah oui, non, mais il y a quand même une récompense à récupérer. Attendez, c'est pas fini. Voilà. Hop là, 20 primogèmes, dab dab dab. À quel moment il y a eu des choix en fait? Indice. Frère, c'est quoi ça? Oui, bah écoutez, je sais pas, c'est très bizarre. Anyway, je conclue la rediff là-dessus. Au revoir.